This is the Arctic truck AT35. Isuzu's answer to the question of what is the most extreme bakkie that you can buy in South Africa today. It's got big wheels, flared arches, and a whole bunch of other kit to make it good off-road. But I don't think I like it.
Or let me say, I have some reservations. First, there's the price. At 1.16 million, the AT35 costs about 250,000 Rand more than the D-Max V-Cross on which it is based. You do get a lot of car for your money though, literally. At 5.3 meters long and over 2 meters wide, this Isuzu has presence to spare, and those beefy 35-inch BF Goodrich tyres leave you in no doubt that this truck really could conquer the Arctic. Incidentally, the specialized rubber alone will set you back in the region of 40,000 Rand, which helps to put that price premium into perspective.
Let's talk about the other aspects of the vehicle. For example, it's very, very wide. So wide, in fact, that it's very difficult to park. And when you off-road in South Africa and you're driving along a little narrow off-road path, you're probably going to scratch the side of the vehicle with one of those typically South African thorn bushes. In a normal bakkie, you might be able to squeeze through the gap. The suspension in here, although it is uprated units by Bilstein, and Bilstein is a fantastic suspension company, I've got it in my race car, it's just not as tuned as you would think it should be, especially when you draw comparisons against the most obvious of rivals, the Raptor. You see, the Raptor suspension is tuned to absolute perfection with those Fox shocks in there. This one, however, unless you're running low tire pressures like I am now, it's actually a little bit bouncy on the road. And there is a recommended tire pressure little plaque on the side of the car, which looks cool, but I still think 2.2 bar is just too high. The ride still feels typically bakkie. It bounces around a little bit, and that's kind of normal if you're used to a bakkie. But in something that's supposed to be the ultimate off-road vehicle, I was expecting a little bit more. Then there's the power. The power is exactly the same as a regular 3-liter Isuzu. Yes, this has got a diesel engine, which is still thirsty, but much more economical than the Raptor. So you've got that diesel benefit. But if I have a bakkie that looks this extreme, surely I want it to perform more extreme as well. And I think a little software tune on here would have gone a long way to give me about 10 or 15 extra kilowatts. Then there's the aerodynamics, which suffers heavily because of the extra frontal area on the Isuzu. You've got these wide arches and gigantic tires. And once you hit the highway, anything over 110 kilometers an hour with a trailer on, you are going to feel it. Then there's the interior. It looks exactly the same as a standard Isuzu. The sense of occasion is completely missing, and the look on people's faces as you drive past doesn't match the experience that I'm getting inside the vehicle here, because for all I know, I could be driving an Isuzu LX. Oh, okay, well, if I look behind me, I can see the AT35 stitching over here, and the seats do look slightly different than the standard one, but other than that, it's all the same. Just like other top spec Isuzus though, you do get adaptive cruise control, which on my long trip into the bush was just wonderful. I wouldn't use the automated steering assist though, because it's a little bit primitive, I think, and it doesn't really work with this vehicle because it's so big. But the lane keep assist, although aggressive, does work. Beeps unnecessarily though, as you can see, but it does work, and the adaptive cruise control works just fine. Everything else is, of course, typically Isuzu. So when you get used to the width and height, it does feel like a normal car. So by the sounds of things, you can tell that I clearly don't like the Arctic truck. But then as you start heading deeper and deeper into the bush, and where places where many buckies can't go, all of a sudden the Arctic truck starts to make a little bit more sense. I'm still in rear-wheel drive mode at the moment on some very soft sand going uphill, and Arctic truck, although the laws of physics are trying to get me to get stuck, Arctic truck almost doesn't allow it. I can still get out in rear-wheel drive mode without much hassle. And then of course, once you stick it in 4 high, this world becomes your oyster. You see, you've got incredible amounts of ground clearance, which means that you can do silly things like just going up sections where usually the bumper would completely get destroyed. But the Arctic truck just manages to do things that other buckies can't, where other buckies find impossible simply because other buckies aren't built the same. Oh my goodness me. Those 35-inch tires. I know it's weird for normal car people because they're talking about the outside diameter of the tires is stupendously big for a road car, while at the same time being absolutely competent in sections that I wouldn't normally dare drive in.
In a world where the Raptor exists, it's hard to justify the AT35. It's slower, it doesn't drive as well as the Raptor, and some might even argue that it's not as capable as the Raptor. After now spending some time in some pretty extreme conditions, I still don't like the Arctic truck. I love it.